a question for Shafia London, whether it be from a woman's perspective, entrepreneurship, parenting, so many things that we touched on this morning. Progressing in life, overcoming challenges, being a country woman, even that. I love it. And I love that you are so humble after all of the things that you have accomplished. Primary, secondary, tertiary, PhD, and all these nice things, right? You still remain humble and you still hold on to the things that have molded you towards becoming the woman that you are today. That is really something. All right, so let's move on. We were talking about, well, we started off, right, with the 7-year-old, the 14-year-old, 14, 15, and post-degree. So you came back home, you spent 10 years, you started working at the St. Vincent Bureau Limited.
That's correct.
Right. So what happened between that point to now becoming the CEO of Banks Holdings Limited, the largest beverage company in Barbados?
Okay. So as I mentioned, CND, they approached me when I was in entrepreneurship at a point where I was questioning a lot of things. So it was a perfect timing. But interestingly, they saw something they were observing and they decided that they wanted me to take over from someone who had built a legacy at the brewery, Wayne Murphy. And the offer was to be sales and marketing manager. So here I am, fresh out of school, entrepreneurship, Chamber of Commerce, but they offered me this position. First thing first, when I saw the salary, I was like, oh my God. I can pay my bills. I mean, coming out of entrepreneurship and struggling with the bills every month, and then somebody's offering you a salary and say, here's a fixed salary. You just need to deliver the results.
Okay, I'm coming.
So, yeah, I'm coming. I'm all yours. So I stepped into the environment of the brewery, which, as you know, is really a male-dominated field because it's about manufacturing. It's sales and marketing, but you have to understand the product that you're selling. And you're selling beers. I mean, I think 8 to 2 is a male beer drinker. So went into that environment, and you're also filling shoes that are humongous. So everybody here was, I think, maybe about 27 years old at the time, and I'm coming into this environment, and everyone had doubts. Who is this person? She's never worked in sales and marketing before. She doesn't know anything about the brewery. Who is this person? So there were a lot of whispers, a lot of doubts. But I've learned, and I guess it's from being, again, from the countryside and so on, you don't listen to everything, because no matter what you do, somebody's going to have something to say. So if you occupy yourself listening to the doubters and the naysayers, you will never move. And so you just have to know what you want, and you're going to give it your best and go forward. And that's what I did. So I went in there, fresh ideas, and again, I still had that group of persons from the Chamber of Commerce that I can tap into their minds and ask them questions, and they were very happy to help. So I was coming in as a 27-year-old, but I was coming with the experience of probably a 50-year-old, because I was coming with years of experience that I had gotten or acquired, you could say, through the people that were around me. So I went in there and I decided to shake things up. Did a lot with Hyrule and with Guinness. People would remember my baby Guinness posse.
Yes.
That the carnival version. Wayne Murphy was the cricket, and we evolved it into the carnival. So again, you had to build from your base, the foundation that was set for you, and build it and make it even more exciting. But remembering that there's a foundation, that you didn't come and meet this. So I didn't come and meet Hyrule. I didn't make Hyrule. Hyrule was there before. Well, actually, it's the same age as me, but it was there before I joined the company, and I had to recognize that and acknowledge that in order to perfect it or do better at it, because your base is important. It goes back to the point about being humble and so on. If you don't remember your roots, the tree would eventually fall. If you cut at your roots, you have to always have your foundation. And so went in, had a great team, worked really hard for a number of years at St. Vincent Brewery. did a lot of branding, a lot of activities. Oh, it was an exciting time. I was pregnant at one point, and there's one person on my team who would say, "You remember Miss Lana was climbing truck with her big belly?" Because it wasn't work, it was a passion. It was me being able to fulfill all what I thought were my strengths, which is marketing. I love marketing. So I thought that was me. So I spent 5 years there. Lots of challenges too, mind you, lots of challenges, but they also helped to make me who I am and will continue to do so. And the company, my husband moved to Barbados. Shout out to my husband, Grenville Williams. He moved to Barbados, and he is the first director from outside of Barbados for the regional security system, which is an amazing accomplishment. And so we decided that he couldn't let go of that opportunity, because that's the first time you would be the first non-Bajan to do that. So we were apart for a while. Like all marriages, had a lot of marital problems, but we have grown, and it's an amazing experience to grow with someone and to go through all these life changes with someone. And so I told the company I needed to move to Barbados, and my options were to stay with the company, maybe in a more junior role than what I had in St. Vincent, or to find a new opportunity. And they said, no, we're going to help you. We're going to make sure that you move, have some patience. And so I waited, and an opportunity came up at Banks, which is the company that makes Banks Bear, Deputy Bear, and Pine Hill Dairy, Full Works Plus. It's a huge company.
Sounds that way.
Yeah, at that time they had like 600 employees, really big. One of the biggest manufacturing companies in Barbados. And they brought me in as marketing manager.
For all that.
For all of that. Again, someone just believing in you, because Crystal, at the end of the day, you have to work. People think these things are handed to you. It's not handed to you. It's not just your network, it's your work. My granny used to say, let your work speak for itself. Hard work brings its own reward. So I'm never obsessed about the rewards or the compensation. I'm more obsessed about the work and the quality of the work. And, one of my pet peeves is small talk. I don't know, it annoys me. I don't like small talk. I don't like empty talk. Like when we're talking, we should be talking about something that's going to lead to something else.
Thank you.
So, even at work, I take that with me. Like, I can't sit in a meeting and just talk. Okay, what are the outcomes of this meeting? What are we trying to achieve? And having said that, who's the owner? Who's going to take this so that when we come back the next time, we can say we have done this or we have moved a step forward.
Right.
So that's my general...
No time to waste.
Yeah, I think your DJ actually just mentioned about being in a group with DJs and entertainers. And sometimes I felt like a mother, because I'm like, okay, enough talking now. What are we actually going to do? Right? And,
Okay, guys, thumbs up. Come on.
What are we going to do? I mean, we may not achieve perfection, but at least let's move forward. I like to move forward. And so I was at the brewery as marketing manager, and within a year they promoted me to commercial manager, which now is marketing but also sales, trade marketing, the full gamut. And I did that for a year, 2 years, and then we had a discussion about moving back to St. Vincent. So I accepted the offer to be country manager for St. Vincent Brewery, which was
just the other day though.
Yeah,
I remember that.
It happened in 2020, but as soon as I packed my bags, and I'm obsessed with shoes. Anybody who knows me would know I love shoes. So I sent my suitcase of shoes first to St. Vincent, and the other things would follow, because I needed a full suitcase with shoes.
Right.
And COVID happened, so I couldn't travel, so my suitcase made a trip back and forth on its own, all my shoes. So I
Stamping that shoes passport.
Exactly. I never got to move. But then in 2021, we decided, okay, it's time. Let me take up the role now. And so I took up the role, started with St. Vincent Brewery. But then the company said, but we can't find a replacement for you in Barbados, so you need to do both jobs. So all of 2021, I was the commercial manager for Banks / Pine Hill. This Banks Holdings is the group,
right?
With all the other subsidiaries within it, and country manager for St. Vincent Brewery. So a lot of people thought that I was living in St. Vincent, and St. Vincent Brewery was my only job, but it wasn't. I had 2 jobs that I was juggling. But I would come every month, and this January was the plan for me to finally take up the role, move to St. Vincent, And being country manager for St. Vincent Brewery was great. It was only 1 year, but we did so many things in 1 year. I mean, we cleaned up everything. Reputation went up. Even staff engagement went up. Our financials were in a much better place. So I was excited because you're on this path of going somewhere, prosperity, and really generating profits for the business and getting back market share, because it used to burn me when I see, changes that had occurred in my absence. So we were aggressive in getting back, and then the company offered me the post for Barbados. They're like, oh, we changed our minds. You need to stay in Barbados, but we want you to head the entire business in Barbados. So again, I got excited and like, oh my gosh, here we go again. But it's exciting because it means they're seeing something and they're believing in you, and your work is speaking for itself. Again, I don't obsess about the journey, about the results, sorry. It's about the journey and doing things every day that's taking you to that destination, but it's about the journey. And just a few days ago, my boss is like, we have reconsidered. And instead of just heading the Barbados company, we want you to head the Barbados company and continue heading the St. Vincent company. So I said, okay. I mean,
Wow.
I'll give it my best.
Wow.
We just need to make sure we put the structures in place. We need to make sure, that the team is empowered, that it's not a Shafia thing, that it's a team building exercise. It's everybody wins. So right now, that's what I've been doing, putting things in place to make sure that this journey is going to be a successful one.
Heading Barbados and St. Vincent at the same time sounds overwhelming to me. On the outside looking in. Okay, so if you're just joining us, we have Shafia London. She is the CEO of Banks Holdings Limited, BHL Group of Companies, all right? Manager for both Barbados and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Ooh, how do you juggle? So you're a wife, you're a mother, manager, CEO, all of these things. How do you juggle all of that?
So I think that's the error of people's thoughts, that it's a scale or it's juggling. When you think of it like that, if a ball drops, then people get hurt, a lot of things happen. And in the terms of scale, if you think of it as a scale, one has to go up for one to go down. And that's not what it is for me. I think of it more as a kaleidoscope. That sometimes one color is a little bit bigger and the other is a little bit bigger, but it changes over time. So today my family would have all of my time. Like on a Saturday, it's my family. Don't call my phone. It's my sons. I'm obsessed with that. Leave me alone. Let me do that. But on Monday, my sons will be like, Mommy is working all the time. I can't get her attention. But the kaleidoscope remains beautiful, no matter how the colors change over time. So that's how I see it, and that's how I try to manage all of the different things in life. So I get involved in a lot of charitable work through Rotary and through my own. I get involved with my kids. My husband, an amazing man, very supportive, helps with the balancing, as you call it, but to help to make it beautiful. My family. So you have to recognize that in any given day, one might be bigger than the other. But at the end of the day, it's still beautiful and it is still your kaleidoscope. So that's how I see it.
That's interesting. It reminds me of, sometimes I listen to like YouTube videos on these sort of things, and it just reminds me of a philosophy that I listened to last night pertaining to being present. So if you're at work, you're at work. You have to like put other things aside.
Exactly.
If you're at the beach, you're at the beach. Don't be at the beach and think about work.
Exactly.
Or be at work and think about the beach.
Exactly.
Wherever you are, just be there. And that'll help with productivity as well. So that's interesting. I'm glad that you shared that with us. Now, if you have a comment to drop, or if you want to call us, 457-1043 is the number to call. 430-1043 is the WhatsApp. And of course, you can join us on the Facebook Live at Extreme 104 SVG. Okay, Elliot is on the inside. Dexron says, so happy for you, Shaf. Shaf?
Yeah, everybody calls him. It's either Miss London or Shaf. Shaf is like the weird part.
So happy for you. Good job. Our boy would be so proud of you. Keep it up. Blessings to you and your family. He's referring to who?
Probably dad.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Let's take a call. Hello, good morning.
Crystal, good morning. Happy New Year to you and the whole team and to the young lady, man. She sounds so great and powerful.
Say that again.
I love her way that she, struggle and keep faith, you know what I'm saying, and just look up to the right things and strengthen her mind by doing what she's doing, and she knows she's doing the right things, and I really appreciate and for listening what she was saying. It's great,
Thank you,
very
sir.
great.
Thank
Keep up
you.
the good works, young lady. And Crystal, so how do you soldier doing for the New Year's?
My is good for the new year, but thank you so much for checking.
Good. Well, we are still here. We just have to keep the faith, do what is right, and then the right things will happen, right?
All right, sir. Thank you so much.
God bless him, Keep up the good works, Krista.
All right. Big up yourself. Okay. At least twice a week he calls and he checks in on my son.
That's very good.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yes.
Really nice. I want to talk about women, just for a little bit, all right? What advice do you have for women who are thinking of trying to achieve as much as you have right now? A woman who might have been or who is probably demotivated. What advice do you have for her?
So one of my favorite books, Crystal, is a book by Sheryl Sandberg. It's called Lean In. I think every woman should read that book. Every woman who is interested in career, because we make choices. Some have decided that's not for me, and that's a personal choice. We have to respect that. But every woman who is interested in a career and in growing should read that book. It's called Lean In, and I would probably extract the advice that she has given to share today, because I think that it's really important for women to understand that. And she shares 5 things. Well, 5, a lot, but there are 5 key ones. The first one is allow yourself to fantasize about your career. Like, don't see yourself as where you are today. See yourself as being more, but fantasize about it. I daydream a lot. And I daydream, but I plan after the dream.
Okay, good.
But
good.
you have to dream and see yourself bigger, but recognize that it's not going to be a today or tomorrow. It may take years. Your journey might be even a very strange one to get where you want to be. I remember Jacqueline James, Dr. Jacqueline James Little. Well, I'm not sure if I'm Miss Little, but she started in the Coast Guard. Now she's an engineer and she's an entrepreneur and doing very well. So your journey is sometimes not a straight line one, but fantasize about it. Think, where could I be? I could be anything I want to be. I just need to first have it in my mind. So that's the first piece of advice. Second, I would say you start a circle. Women oftentimes spend more time attacking each other than helping each other. So you need to find your tribe. Find at least 1 or 2 other like-minded women who could encourage you and could support you. I have a group of friends. I talk about them all the time. If I'm having something, these are the most bourgeois young women, but they come into my Highroon Fete at Mario's. They are coming out and they might spend 10 minutes, but just their presence
At least
there
they're coming, they're showing up.
shows me that they're encouraging me and they're there with me. And you need to find your tribe. Find 2 or 3 women, and they help to keep out a lot of the negative energy, a lot of the other women who are not in your corner. But who cares? Once you have your corner, you know your tribe. I mean, I have a friend, Karen John. She's a customs officer. And I would just pick up my phone. And if I pick up my phone and say, how you doing? She's like, what's wrong? Because she knows I don't pick up my phone and say, how you doing? She just knows that we are friends and that's it. And she knows her role is what's wrong.
Yeah.
And that helps, knowing that someone knows you that well.
Yeah.
So find your tribe and have that circle of support. That's the second important one. Third, skip the people pleasing. You can never please everybody. I said this to a young lady who I've been watching and admiring for a while in terms of the way she works, Shanika John. And she was with one of
Big
my...
up to Shanika,
Yes.
Health Promotions Officer at Ministry of Health. Yeah.
And she was with one of my mentee, Carissa Taylor.
Shout out to Carissa too.
Yes, and they were both there and they were asking me similar questions like, how do you do it? What are you doing differently? And I said, stop listening or trying to please everyone. Decide what you want. Make sure it's healthy. Make sure you focus on that, because no matter what, there will always be someone who thinks you're doing it wrong or that you're not good enough for what you're doing. There will always be someone. You can never please everyone. And I find, unfortunately, sometimes our culture, I guess because of the smallness and the familiarity, it breeds that contempt where persons think they have a right to dictate for you what your life should look like and what you should be doing with your life. You focus on you and your dreams and keep your mind in that bubble, and you would see how far and how much you can flourish. If you are to pay attention to all the naysayers, you would never move forward. And recognize you're human. So you're never going to be perfect. That you will make mistakes, but don't make anyone make you feel like a monster when you've made mistakes. There's some mistakes that I don't accept, like the man with the child. But apart from that, you
We
will
don't
make
accept that at all.
mistakes. You're not going to be perfect, but you keep trying, keep doing your best, and eventually what is for you will always be for you, and your right fit will come. So don't be a people pleaser. Please yourself, and please fulfill your own dreams.
Before you go on to the next one, I just want to just choke in a little bit here. Sometimes, and I'm not justifying and say that it is right, but sometimes people project their own fears and
a lot.
insecurities onto you.
Yes, for
And,
sure.
you know, for example, if somebody is afraid of walking down a particular road and that road might get you to success, they'll tell you don't go down there because they're afraid of going down there.
Yes.
So just to add to that point as well.
And you can listen, but remember, you are different. You have your own life. So take from it what you can get from it. But don't take the whole thing and think you are identical to that person and your experience is going to be identical. Because that person might have gone down that road 10 years ago and things were different then. You can go down it now and it's a whole different experience. You know, Karen would often say to me, you can learn from other people's experience. You don't have to experience it yourself. But know what you're taking. Extract what you think is relevant to you. All right? The other thing that Cheryl Sanderberg speak about is also visualizing your career as a jungle gym and not a ladder. What do you mean?
Jungle gym.
Yes. So what does that mean? It means you can go across, down, up, all over. Because when, for example, when I took up the job of country manager for St. Vincent Brewery, not knowing that I would maintain Barbados, it was actually a step down for me in my career because of the scope of what I do in Barbados is so much bigger. But I decided I needed to step down sometimes to step up. Sometimes you need to go back to go forward. So I accepted it because I wanted that growth. I wanted that new experience. So your career is not always a ladder. You don't always have to be the next person ahead of you. You can go across, and that across might open a whole new path for you that is even more exciting and even more fulfilling. So don't always see your career as going up only. You will eventually get up, but it's not a straight line up as a ladder. It's a jungle gym. You
Almost
could go
like
across.
a maze.
Yes, it's like you can go across. Think of the thing that the jungle gym, the thing that the kids climb, and you go across, you go under, you go up. So you can go in different directions and still get to that point that you want to be. So
Wonderful.
think of that. And the last piece of advice from her, which I take very seriously, is you have to be open to taking risk. Oftentimes, women tend to avoid stretch assignments. We tend to stay away from anything that's challenging, and that's women specifically. And that's because we are balancing all that we have to balance. So we don't want to stay at work late because we have to take care of the kids. We don't want to do this because of something. We have to go here, we have to go, and we're not taking on the stretch assignments. When there's something to be done in the business, you can identify it and say, I want that challenge. Let me try it. I've never done it, but let me try it. Let me give it a go. And speak to your supervisor and so on and say, let me try it. And that shows who you are. That shows your strength, your determination, and it would generate results. Because businesses are like our families, you know. We spend so much time at work than we spend at home sometimes. Right. And you have to think, how can I make this business better? How can I act like an owner of this business and not just an employee? Many times I see employees sit and they're like, I just want to go home. I just want to get my salary. But imagine, this is your salary. This is your life. This is your second family. Why aren't you giving it your all? Why aren't you making sure that it's sustainable, that it's profitable, that it's growing? You have to give it your all because it's what is given to you so that you can feed your family, so that you can pay your bills. I say to my colleagues at the brewery, I don't drink. I hardly drink competitive products. In beer, I don't drink anything but my products. And it's simple. That's what pays my bills. So if I can't contribute to pay my own bill, why would I expect someone else to do it? So you have to see your work environment as your second home and try to build yourself in it, but also help that business to grow so that you can grow with it. Now, some environments are toxic. You have to know what's a right fit and what's not a right fit, but it's never going to be perfect. Now, once you find somewhere that's at least 70, 80%, work on it. Stay there. Give it your best. Give it your all. Negotiate if you think you deserve more. But at the end of the day, it's still your second family and you have to give it your all.
Have you ever had to negotiate?
Of course, a lot. And it's harder for us. For women, we tremble. A man will just go up and say, I want this. And
sometimes he doesn't even have to go up.
Yeah.
He'll just, take that.
But as a woman, you start trembling. You start thinking you're not worth that, or it's hard for you and it's difficult to have that conversation. I mean, I just had to negotiate this for this role. And, the offer was given to me and I spoke with my husband and I thought it wasn't enough. And he was like, no, it's not enough. Just go back and ask them. And I'm like, ask them? How can I do that? I mean, how do you do that? And he was like, yeah, just say it's not enough. And I took his approach and they wrote back and they're like, okay, we understand. We will give you what you want. Oh, that's how it works? It was that easy? I didn't know you just have to be brave. He said, yes, just ask. Just
they either say yes or no, right?
Exactly. So women tend to get very timid. We tend to be very protective of other people's feelings and put them before ourselves. So people sometimes take advantage of that. So you have to negotiate and negotiate well.
Oh, dear. Somebody is asking a question I had in mind to ask you. Where's the book? Where's your book?
An aunt of mine, she's been insisting forever because I left out a lot of pages and chapters of this book, believe it or not.
I could imagine.
There are a lot more to me, and I'm not the only one, and there are other women. So I'd love to tell my story, but also incorporate other women's story because when you listen to other women, you realize, wait a minute, the journey is not really unique. Other people have all these difficulties as well. Other people come from humble beginnings, poor background, stressful environments at home. Other people have it too. So yes, one day I hope to tell that story soon. There's a young lady who's been behind me forever now. She's a writer and she said, I want to write your book for you. I said, okay, let's maybe give it a chance, maybe next year.
You got to start now, Shafia. You got to start now. It only takes what?
I have to find a space on the Kaleidoscope.
Yeah. Or you could even just speak.
Yes.
And then they will just transcribe or something.
Yes, that's
like
the plan. I think I'll let her write for me.
Yeah, because it's easier to just talk and instead of having to type, it's like, backspace.
Yes.
You can't backspace when you're talking.
Yes,
just talk.
she would write.
Okay, looking forward to that. Some other questions and comments. By the way, we have Shafia London on the inside with us. Oh boy, look at the time, huh? Look at the time. She is the CEO of Banks Holdings Limited, BHL Group of Companies. She's now first woman.
Yes, the first woman. And that company combined is 112 years old.
Jeez.
The brewery part is 60 years old.
Did you cry? Speak the truth. Did you cry when you got it?
I sang a lot to God. I believe in God. And again, I'm not religious per se, but I believe in God. I believe in spirituality. There are three parts to us, and I believe strongly in mind, body, and soul. Mind, body, and spirit, sorry. And so spiritually, I had to say, God, you are amazing. And my favorite song right now is My Soul Says Yes, because it speaks about you recognizing that not everything is in your hands, and sometimes you just need to let the wheel go and let God be. Let God do his do. Because, coming back to St. Vincent had its good points, but it meant I had to separate from my family because my elder son, he's going to be writing common entrance in Barbados, and we decided we didn't want to interrupt that right now. So it meant I would have had to come back on my own for at least a year or two until he's finished, and then the rest of the family. So there was a bittersweet element to this. And then he just opened this whole new door. You have to do you. You can't sit down and say, oh, God will take care of me. No, I mean, my auntie used to say, you can't be like the woman who go by the river put the clothes on the rocks and say, God, wash them for me. No. you
has a washing machine.
Exactly. You have to go and wash them, and God will bring out the sun to dry them for you. But you have to do part of the work.
He already put the water, he put the stove, he put this. What more you want?
So I believe strongly in God, and I believe that He's helped me, and I believe that sometimes when I'm at a point where I'm not sure what road to take, I just stop and say, God, you do you. Take care of the next step.
Jesus, take the wheel.
And He has done it over and over again. I don't go to church and scream and so on. Maybe I should, but I believe in God, Crystal. He's an amazing God.
I think once the relationship between you and God is between you and God.
It has to be personal.
Right? I don't think that it's absolutely necessary for you to, and this is no offense to people who do it, because people praise in different ways. Some people are very quiet. Some people, sing aloud. But it depends on you and your personality as well. But fundamentally, that relationship is between yourself and God. Like, nobody has to know what the two of you talk about.
Exactly.
Right?
And no matter where you are in life, always recognize that you're just a little part. When you stand beside an ocean, look at the vastness of that ocean, and you would recognize how small you are compared to that ocean. And therefore, you need to be humble. There is something bigger than you out there, because if that ocean is so big, you're tiny. And so, sometimes I just have to reflect on that there's something bigger than me. And the moment I was able to connect with what that is, and for me, that is God. For other people, it might be Allah or whomsoever, but for me, it's God. And having that conversation with Him on a daily basis, it has really helped me to grow and to keep that kaleidoscope beautiful.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Now, we got some messages on the WhatsApp and some on the Facebook, right? But somebody is asking you to repeat the name and the author of the book that you're making reference to.
Oh, sure. Cheryl Sandberg, and the book is Lean In. It's highly recommended for every woman who wants to grow in their career. Highly, highly recommended.
That's really nice. Now, some comments coming in on WhatsApp, right? Love the story. Many more successful from humble beginnings should share their story as well. It goes a long way to impact the mindset of society. I do think the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding goes across the board.
That's a Rasta.
You think
My uncle
so?
was a Rasta. He never said understanding. He always said overstanding.
I was like, how did she know that? There's a reason why all the stars shine together in the sky. Good morning. She said she manages both companies. Is she clone? That is amazing. Inspirational. He's the one who asked if you had a book. All right. Good morning to Ezra. Good morning, Ezra. How are you doing? Ezra was inside here with us over the Christmas season.
Okay.
All right. He says, great story. I had the pleasure of working with Shafia on a PSA for the people of SVG.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's an amazing story as well.
Oh, boy.
He has made us so proud. I'm so proud of Ezra.
Yeah. You hear that, Ezra? I wasn't aware of her journey or story, but it's great to hear. Wishing you both a happy new year. 100% Vincy. Thank you so much, and happy new year, Ezra. All right. Somebody asked for the book. The phone line was going a while ago, but it was like in the middle of something, so I couldn't answer it. But I did say 9:45, so it's 9:45.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So we got to wrap up because I know you're super busy.
And with those two jobs, I have
Super
a
busy.
meeting at 10.
Yes, right. So you gotta go. So final thoughts, maybe 1 minute to just wrap things up. First of all, I want to say thank you very much for taking the time out and for sharing so much with us. And I know that you've just touched the surface of your entire story. Looking forward to the book. Just saying. I might remind you every now and then. And, given the opportunity, I would love to speak a little bit more, but another day. So thank you so much for taking the time out. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for sharing. And of course, for just being Shafia London. So final words before you leave.
Don't be afraid to dream, and to dream big. You are much bigger than your circumstances. You're much bigger than your background, than your environment. You're much bigger than what other people see in you or think of you. Don't be afraid to dream big, but recognize that it's not just about dreaming big and about a destination. It's about a journey, and you have to make that journey exciting. You have to do what it takes to get to that dream. So it might mean baby steps. It might mean steps back, steps across, but always keep that dream. Don't give up on your dream, and keep working towards it, recognizing that you can go in any direction to get to it. And also, always remember who you are, where you're from, and always acknowledge the support that you have. Because without all of the support that I've had in other persons, I don't think sometimes I would even be motivated to move or to do things. So recognize and acknowledge persons around you who love you and care for you. Pick up your phone, WhatsApp people, say hello. Let people know that you appreciate them for what they've been doing for you. And keep focus and deliver your results. Work hard, deliver results. Don't small talk.
Can't stress that enough. Anybody got time for that?
Deliver your results. Work hard. Work will bring its own reward.
Okay. Lovely. Thank you so much, Shafia. Have a wonderful day. All the best for the entire year.
Thank you for having me, Crystal. And thank you, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, for all of your support. And remember to drink Irene Bear.
Okay.